Hello learners, I welcome you to the video lesson 23, The Return of the Lion. Coming to the introduction, The Lion Returns is a short play. And do you know what a play is? A play is a story told in drama form where the characters speak their dialogues themselves. A play is usually performed in a theatre or in the open too. The stage usually has a background scene setting to let the audience know where the action is taking place. The modern stage sometimes does not have any elaborate settings. Actors use some simple props to convey the sense. The audience is engaged through the way the actors get into the characters and use body language, expressions, intonation, and emotions to convey whatever feelings or moods they wish to convey and tell the story through dialogues and interaction with different characters. The Lion Returns is a historical play based on Chhatrapati Shivaji's life and struggle to keep the Mughals at bay. Shivaji was a great warrior and just ruler who consolidated the Maratha kingdom. He is one of the most honored kings till date because of the exceptional way in which he protected the vulnerable people. Although he fought many battles against the Mughal emperor Aurangzeb, but in life he believed in practicing religious tolerance. He is known to have protected Muslim women, mosques and tombs. The army has an infantry unit known as the 14th Battalion of the Maratha Light Infantry Regiment, which traces its origin to Shivaji's army of the 18th century. The battle cry is Bol Shri Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Ki Jai. In Mumbai, the railway terminus and airport have been named Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Airport, respectively, in his memory. The word lion in the title is metaphoric. It refers to Shivaji, the great king, the great ruler, who was as brave as a lion in a war. Coming to the objectives of the lesson, learners, after completing this lesson, you will be able to read and enjoy a play, assess how war affects ordinary people, conclude that a good leader is responsible for his people and state, value the sacrifices a mother makes for her child, write a diary entry, list the characteristics of a good administrator, and recognize the adverbs of manner, time, and place. Learners, background information to the play, which is very much necessary over here. The brave king Shivaji led his Maratha warriors to fight many battles against the Mughal army and defeated them. In one of the battles, Aurangzeb, the Mughal king, captured and imprisoned him. What do you think happened to him? And how do you think Shivaji's family felt when that happened? How did he plan his escape? Why was his escape necessary? Why was the escape necessary over here? How did this news affect his brave soldiers? Learners, coming to the characters in the play, Shivaji, the ruler of the Marathas, Jijabai, Shivaji's mother, Mantri, Shivaji's chronicler, Sachiv, the secretary, Ramdas, a poet, Shivaji's teacher and companion, Soyabai, Shivaji's wife and Sambhaji's mother, Pandit Rao, Sambhaji's foster mother. Coming to the setting, learners, the setting is officers of Shivaji's court, an attendant in Maratha uniform, a room in the fort of Rajgarh near Pune, Jijabai, Shivaji's mother, is sitting on a small throne. She is surrounded by officers of the court. Among them are the Mantri, the Sachiv, Pandit Rao, and the poet Ramdas, who has an open letter on his knee. In a corner, Soyabai, Shivaji's wife and Sambhaji's mother, is sitting quietly, and by her side is Sambhaji's foster mother, who is an older woman. The two of them are talking softly. So this is the setting. Learners, let's read the text of the full play once through. Learners, I hope by now you would have read the play The Lion Returns as at least once and that you are familiar with the story. If not, please read the text on your own. So, the lesson is The Return of the Lion. Learners, let us understand the text 23.2.1 part 1 and you may read from the lines, officers of Shivaji's court 2 is going to return to us. There is a famous quote, uneasy lies the head where wears a crown. This quote was originally a line from Shakespeare's play King Henry IV part 2, but it has become so famous that it has become proverbial. Another way of saying the same thing is that the crown comes with thorns. In simple words, it means that a person who has great responsibilities, such as a head of the state, an organization, and nation, or a king, is always worried and therefore cannot get sound sleep. His life is always full of responsibilities and challenges. He has opportunities too, which he must exploit to their fullest. In the course of his life, he has to face lots of ups and downs. He also has lots of friends, admirers, and enemies, both within and without. A true leader is always committed to his mission. Come what may, they must achieve their goals and keep trying their best till they achieve success. In part 1 of the play, The Return of the Lion, the situation is extremely tense. Jijabai, the regent of Marathas, in the absence of Shivaji, has received a letter from Agra containing the news that Shivaji was dead. Jijabai, despite of being a mother, receives this news as a responsible regent and does not want it to be disclosed. When the scene opens, we find Ramdas reading out the contents of a letter sent by Aurangzeb from Agra disclosing that Shivaji was no more. Jijabai rubbishes the contents of the letter and refuses to believe that her son is dead. Jijabai is not only brave and composed but also intelligent. She suspects Aurangzeb of playing a cunning trick on them by sending the letter. Aurangzeb had no ethics or values. He was known to have made false promises a number of times without fulfilling any. When Ramdas tells her that the promises were not made by Aurangzeb but Jai Singh, she quickly reminds him that Jai Singh will say whatever he has been ordered to say because now he is a slave of Aurangzeb. Mantri, another minister, then reminds them that Aurangzeb had laid traps for them everywhere. He also discloses that Bijapur was about to strike and that discontent was beginning to spread amongst their men. He feared a revolt from them. The situation was getting more intense and grave because there was no news about Shivaji. Sachiv, who had been standing there, pointed out that the letter said that Shivaji is dead, but it does not say how he died. Jijabai does not want any discussion. She tells all the ministers that the letter is nothing short of being a hoax and puts the matter to rest. Soyabai, Shivaji's wife, wants to know if the letter said anything about my dear boy Sambhaji. Jijabai snubs her and orders her to be quiet. She was not the only mother who had a right to be worried. She reiterates her firm faith that the lion, Shivaji, and his cub, Sambhaji, would soon return to their kingdom. She knows that her son is too clever to remain trapped anywhere. He would soon find a way out of any critical problem. She says he can't stay long in the fox's den. She finds a solution to the anticipated unrest in the forces and tells Mantri to raise the pay and increase the rations of the soldiers. She even asks him to send useful gifts to their wives and sweets and toys to their children. This expense would be met from her personal account. She understands how important it is for the morale of the forces to know that the leader is safe. So she tells Mantriji to announce that the Raja is at Varanasi and will return before long. These were also times of blind faith in pundits and astrologers, So she gets another announcement made to the public saying that all the great astrologers at Varanasi have studied Shivaji's horoscope and predict that nothing can stop him from becoming the lord of the whole of Maharashtra. In this way, she tries to keep the soldiers and the priests contented and happy. She addresses all her courtiers as friends and pleads with them not to talk about Shivaji's death. She reiterates that the boy will return. All men raise slogans of Raja's mother will live and so on. Jijabai then tells them that tomorrow, the next day, she will say her special prayers to their family deity, for it was she who blessed him with this child. She turns to Soyabai and reassures her that both their sons will return soon. Learners, now come to the part 23.2.2, that is part 2, and you may read from the lines footsteps and a slight noise outside to long live Maharashtra. In the last section, we see that though Jijabai cannot afford to be weak as a regent, her motherly instincts are also quite strong. She does show streaks of emotional weaknesses as a mother. In this part of the play, we see how eager Jijabai is to see her son alive. The news of his death was definitely upsetting, even though she rubbished it all as a hoax. Somewhere in the corner of her heart, she was having a lurking fear. She wears an outward exterior, which is brave and detached. She executes her duties as a regent with great sense of responsibility when she announces gifts for soldiers and their families in order to keep their morale high. She welcomes sadhus from the north. She believes that they may have brought some news about her son. She is a totally committed and earnest regent. Her interaction with Soyabai and sadhus shows how bravely she tries to keep her emotions under control. She is devoted towards the Marathas and feels Shivaji will return for the sake of the Marathas. Shivaji too has kept his excitement under control. He makes his appearance in disguise. Learners, read the unit to find out what happens in the end. In this part of the drama, Sachiv hears some footsteps and a slight noise outside and gets alerted. Ramdas says it must be someone who wants to see them. Just then, an attendant enters, makes a bow, and announces that 3 holy men were at the gates awaiting permission to meet them. He tells Jijabai that they are probably from the north and that they are Bairagi sadhus. He says perhaps they have come to ask for charity. Wishing to seek their blessings, she gives them permission to come in. Sachiv wishes to leave the room, but Jijabai requests him to stay on till she has met the sadhus. She feels the sadhus might have some news about her son and grandson Shivaji and Sambhaji. Here we get to see the hidden emotions of a mother. As a regent queen, she puts on a tough exterior, but within herself she is still the emotional and awaiting mother. As a queen, she knows she cannot reveal her true feelings for her son. The attendant enters again with the 3 sadhus who seem to be poor, humble men dressed in rags. 2 of them are tall and the third is a small man who doesn't look up. Ramdas greets the 3 holy men. The 2 sadhus bless them, but the third simply folds hands and says nothing. His eyes remain fixed to the ground. Jijabai asks the third sadhu as to why he is not speaking anything. The first sadhu explains that he had taken a vow of silence. Then he tells her that they have heard stories about her wisdom and kindness to the poor. Hence, they have travelled a long distance to see her. Jijabai tells them that they are welcome in the house and that they can stay as long as they wish. The second sadhu tells her that whilst they were at Varanasi, they had heard about Shivaji being in Agra at the time, and that you were taking care of the matters of the state in his absence. Jijabai, keen to hear more about her son, asks what else they had heard. The second sadhu said that they had also heard from some horsemen that Shivaji had been taken prisoner. Jijabai immediately reacted and said, "The lion won't stay long in that dirty den." She asked for more information. The first sadhu said that that was all they had heard. He said that since they were men of peace and spent most of the time in temples and lonely places, they were not able to gather any information. Jijabai agreed that holy men had nothing to do with the war and fighting. She then seeks their blessings and says she is dying to see her son. Again, the first and second sadhus bless her. The third does nothing. Why do you think the third sadhu did not want to react? Any guesses, learners? Well, the suspense is revealed in the next few lines. Jijabai looks at him and tells him that if he did not want to bless her, he may curse her. She was ready to die cheerfully, but she could not live without her son. The sadhu falls at her feet. Jijabai passes her hand gently over his face. She immediately gives out a cry of surprise mingled with happiness. My son, my son, my son has come back. The Lord of Maharashtra has come back. The lion has come back from the fox's den. She recognizes him instantly and hugs him tightly. There are cheers of "Long live Shivaji" in the hall. Shivaji gets up and says, yes, Shivaji has escaped from the fox's den and the vulture's claws. I have come back to my mother, my friends, and my people. Soyabai nervously asks him if he has left their son behind in the hands of the enemy. Shivaji assures her that he is safe with friends and asks her not to worry and that he shall be with her in a few days. He then turns to Ramdas and says, Sir, your pupil has returned to you. Won't you advise and guide him as you have always done? He then turns to the others and tells them to be happy as he has come back safe from the spider's web. He announces a feast for the poor and orders lights to be lit atop hilltops and to illuminate the palace and announce his return with gunfire. All are happy and agree to carry out his orders. They go out hailing Jijabai and Maharashtra. How do you think Shivaji's surprise worked on everyone present in the room? What evidence do we have about Shivaji's large-heartedness and that he was very popular amongst his people? Learners, do you know when Aurangzeb arrested Shivaji in Raja Jai Singh's house, Shivaji realized that Aurangzeb was planning to kill him. Shivaji struck upon an idea and said that he wanted to make peace with God by sending fruit and sweetmeats to Brahmins and holy men. Aurangzeb agreed to this. One fine day, Shivaji and his son Sambhaji hid themselves in 2 large baskets in which fruits and sweetmeats were packed every day and escaped from Aurangzeb's custody. Learners, there is a section called adverbs in this very lesson, and it is under Let Us Learn Grammar. And the part is 23.3. Learners, as I had already told you in previous video lessons, adverbs are words which add meaning to a verb, an adjective or another adverb. Adverbs are of different kinds. The 3 most commonly used adverbs are adverb of manner, adverb of place, adverb of time. Number 1, adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner show how an action was performed. For example, he laughed loudly. The Marathas fought bravely. She spoke cheerfully. Number 2, adverbs of place. Adverbs of place show where an action takes place. For example, stand here. Your Raja has come back. There are 3 holy men outside. So here, back, outside, adverbs of place. Number 3, adverbs of time. Adverbs of time show when an action is performed. For example, he comes here daily. We will give a feast today. They arrived a few minutes ago. Daily, today, ago, adverbs of time. Learners, there is an exercise in your book, that is exercise number 1. Choose a suitable word from the brackets and use it in the correct form to complete the sentences. For example, she laughed, and there is an option given in brackets, if you can see that, happy / slow. She laughed happily. Number 2, the man stared dash at the boy who broke the window, and the options given are kind / stern. So the answer is the man stared sternly at the boy who broke the window. There is an exercise number 2. In this exercise, you need to write the word which is opposite in meaning of the given adverb. We call opposites antonyms also. There are 2 words given in the brackets against each word. Tick the correct antonym. The first 2 have been done for you over here. The words in bold capitals are your answers. You complete the rest of the exercise yourself, learners. For example, happily, sadly / seriously. So, antonym of happily, sadly. Number 2, sternly. Antonym of sternly is kindly. Coming to exercise number 3. In this exercise, pick out the adverbs and say if it is adverb of time, place or manner. 3 examples have been done for you, and let's try the rest. And the 3 examples which are there in the book and which have been done are: we woke up early, that is time. The railway station is far away from his house. Place, she was dressed smartly on her birthday party. So this is manner. The first one was adverb of time, early. Number 2, the second one was adverb of place, away. The third one was adverb of manner, smartly. Learners, there is another portion in your book called diary entry. Learners, you need to keep in mind certain important points while writing a diary entry. Always start with the date on left. It is advisable that you divide it into paragraphs, leave a line and begin a new paragraph from the left in alignment with dear. Write in the first person, that is I or we. Learners, there is an exercise again. Let us do 23.2. Learners, have you ever faced a situation when you lost something or somebody you loved? How did you feel when that happened? Write a diary entry describing your feelings. So you need to keep the aforestated objectives in your mind for a diary entry. Learners, what are the qualities of good administrator? It's there in the lesson. I hope by now you have understood. Number 1 is staying objective. A good administrator treats all people with the same respect and fairness and does not play favorites. He or she makes decisions about an employee based on job performance and not on whether she likes or dislikes someone. She or he handles each problem with objectivity and does not allow personal feelings to dictate her or his course of action. When the situation requires discipline, she ensures that the action she takes is consistent with similar cases so that no one can accuse her of favoritism. Number 2, providing motivation. An effective administrator is able to provide motivation to his staff to perform beyond your institutional standards or company standards. To achieve this goal, a good administrator must know the strengths and weaknesses of his employees. He must praise an employee and give recognition when an assignment or project is executed well and find tactful ways to bolster areas that need improvement. A good administrator must also find creative ways to keep morale high, whether it's arranging after-work gatherings or providing incentives and bonuses for exceeding goals. Number 3, keeping communication flowing. Good communication is not just expressing a viewpoint clearly, but also requires listening to what others are saying. A skilled administrator speaks clearly and ensures that her words are specific so there is no confusion. She should listen to everything an employee tells her and write it down to avoid misunderstandings if the issue comes up in the future. Keeping an open door policy is an effective way to help employees feel comfortable in expressing honest opinions. Mentoring others. An effective administrator doesn't keep aloof from employees, but rather seeks a mentoring relationship to help them move up the corporate ladder or in any career. Mentoring requires a willingness to share past experiences and insider tips that only come from having been in the same position as the employee. It's also important to exhibit kindness towards employees and remember that they have lives outside the office too. Good administrators don't overwork their employees and they make all allowances for personal situations which may require flexibility. Learners, with all this, here we come to the end of the lesson. I hope that you have understood the lesson well. Learners, you are required to read the lesson twice or thrice to reinstate the ideas you have learned. Learners, I also request you to read the lesson in the book before writing the exam. I wish you all the best. Thank you.